Hello geometry students. Today's learning target is to work on the following warm-up worksheet. So if you look at problem number 1, we want to use the Pythagorean theorem, which says a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared, where c is the hypotenuse. So to set this problem up, we'll say x squared plus root 10 squared is equal to 3 root 2 squared. So remember, the blue highlighted number 3 root 2 is the hypotenuse, since it is across from the 90. So then we get x squared. I'm going to grab my calculator, and if I do the square root of 10 squared, I get 10. And when I do 3 root 2 squared, we get 18. So then you'll get x squared plus 10 is equal to 18. We could subtract 10 from both sides. We'll get x squared is equal to 8. Then we're going to take the square root of both sides, so x is the square root of 8. And that breaks down to square root of 4 times square root of 2. So x is 2 square root of 2. For problem number 2, we want to determine if the three sides form a right triangle. So what we did in class is we checked to see if a squared plus b squared, if that was equal to c squared. And remember, c is always the hypotenuse, which is the longest side. So the longest side, or the c, is going to be the 67.5. So I need to check, is 45 or 40.5 squared plus 54 squared, is that equal to 67.5 squared? So using our calculator, if I do 40.5 squared plus 54 squared, I get 4556.25. Then I'll do 67.5 squared. And notice I get the same value. So going back to the worksheet here, the left side is 4,556.25. 67.5 was 4556.25. Since these are equal, this is a right triangle. For problem number 3, we're going to use the distance formula. And in class, we talked about the distance formula is the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. And I always like to label my points, so x1, y1, x2, y2. And then I'm going to substitute into the formula. So it's the square root of -2 minus a -4 squared plus -3 minus 3 squared. Then I'm going to grab my calculator and I'm going to type in -2 minus a -4 squared plus -3 minus 3 squared. Doing that, I get 40. So the distance is the square root of 40. That breaks down to the square root of 4 times the square root of 10. So the final answer is going to be 2 square root of 10. If we take a look at problem numbers 4 and 5, number 4 is a special right triangle. And we had learned that the formula is x, x, x root 2. And since this number is 12, the pattern that we learn is we take 12 and divide by 2, so we get 6. But then you need to multiply by root 2. So the pattern was we divide by 2 and then multiply by root 2. So both sides are 6 root 2. In problem number 5, this is a special 30, 60, 90. And the formula was x, 2x, and x root 3. So this number 42 is the long leg, which is across from 60. And the pattern that we learn in order to find the short leg, we learn that we're going to divide by 3 and then multiply by the square root of 3. So 42 divided by 3 is 21, so the short leg is 21 square root of 3. Then to get the hypotenuse, we're going to multiply by 2. So 21 times 2 is 42 square root of 3.